So it's 2019, I'm 18 years old, and I am walking in the cafeteria on my second day in college because I came to college a week early so that I could do band camp, right? Because I wanted to be in marching band. So it's me and a bunch of other band nerds all in a cafeteria, and my heart is beating fast because I'm about to go up and sit next to someone that I've never talked to before in my life. Because in high school, right, I had friends in band, but once they all graduated, I was alone for 2 years. I didn't really have any friends, and I swore when I went into college, I was not going to feel that pain and loneliness again. I was going to learn how to talk to people because I didn't know how before this. So I see this guy, right? I see this guy sitting alone at one of the cafeteria tables. And in my mind, even though I know rationally, it's just a conversation, my mind's coming up with all this shit like, what if he rejects you? What if he hates you? What if he wants to hurt you? What if everyone sees you get rejected and it's so embarrassing and no one wants to talk to you and you are alone for the rest of band camp? What if you were alone again like you were in high school? I thought this was my master plan, right? I thought if I just sit next to people enough, if I just make enough conversations, if I just sit next to this guy right now, I might have a friend. I might be able to make a friend that I can talk to on a regular basis, and I'm not going to be so alone because everyone else here needs friends too, right? No one else knows each other, so why don't I go sit down to someone who's alone? So I sit down next to this guy, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Do you mind if I sit with you? And he's like, mm-mm. Okay. And I'm like, okay, bad start. What's up, man? My name's Luke. And he doesn't shake my hand or fist bump me or anything. He's just like, Tommy. I'm like, all right, Tommy, what instrument do you play? Trombone. And I'm like, sick, trombone, Tommy. That's great. And now I'm sitting next to this guy, right? I've made it a point that I'm like, I'm gonna sit next to you. I don't want to get up. Even though this conversation is stale and boring, and I don't feel like I'm really gonna vibe with this guy at this point because he's not being very open. I don't have the confidence in myself yet to be able to just leave a social situation when I don't feel it. So for that entire period of lunch, for that 20, 30-minute period, I'm just sitting across from this guy who is saying nothing to me, and we were just both eating our lunch in silence. It was weird as fuck, bro. That was a weird lunch. But throughout it, I'm thinking, was it something I said? Was it something I did? Are some people just weird? Why does it seem like some guys, like the popular guys I remember in high school, no matter who it was, even the quiet people, if they talked to them, they would have a fun conversation. Both people would be laughing. How the fuck did they do that? And then I realized, oh shit, it's on me. No matter who the other person is, it's on me to find out a way to make it fun and engaging. And this was such a good belief for me to ingrain because now I have ahead of me the ability to learn the skill of creating incredible conversations. But I could only do that when I realized that I have the power and the responsibility to do so. Right now, brother, your conversations are dull as fuck. You haven't seemed fun, or it seems like there's no one cool to talk to, and it's your fault. And I'm saying that it's on you. I'm saying that it's your fault because as soon as you accept this responsibility, you also accept the power to be able to change it. And the reason that you aren't having fun conversations on the fucking daily, bro, is because we all get into conversational habits that let us coast by. This is why people think that social skills are born, right? When they're not. They are habits. But in early childhood, we learn the right things to say, quote unquote, right things. What we learn is the things to say that don't offend anyone, that don't get us in trouble, that keep us being pleasant around people. But when you focus on being pleasant, you never create deep friendships in life. You never have fun conversations. And when you have these poor conversational habits, it seems like talking to people is just a bore. It's not so rewarding. You may have had the thoughts, I just don't care enough about being social, or the people around me aren't that cool anyway. But bro, you do care. Of course you care, because you are a human being and we all want to be liked. We all want to have fun throughout our day. We all want to feel deeply seen and cared for. It's a basic human need. Acceptance is right up there next to safety in the list of human needs. And bro, if you really didn't care, you wouldn't be watching videos like this. Plus, there are cool people around you, but whenever you tell yourself that there aren't, of course you never try, bro. Of course. Because the real world is a reflection of your own mind, and people don't take that as seriously as they should. Because whenever you look out for blue cars, right? If I say look out for blue cars on your way to school, on your way to work, you're going to see more blue cars today. Just the same way as if you say, there aren't any cool people around me. What do you think the world is going to reflect back to you? What would happen if you start to tell your mind, there are cool people out there, but I have to go find them? How do you think your life would change? If you aren't having conversations that are fun as fuck daily right now, then this video is for you. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Luke Grenoble, And we are creating a gang of like-minded young men who are no longer settling for the monotony and depression of living a life with average social skills. And if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, go ahead and hit subscribe right now. And our goal by the end of 2024 is to have 5,000 social celebrities. Not just young men who feel okay in conversations or who can talk to a stranger now, but social fucking leaders who are grabbing their lives by the balls and creating their own social life with intention. My promise to you is that by the end of this video, you are going to have everything you need to become the kind of guy who can make every conversation exciting. But first, you need to know a few things. The biggest thing that is keeping you right now from having the conversations you want is presence, bro. Presence is one of the 3 key factors to charisma. And by ignoring it, by not focusing on it, you are going to mind wander. Studies have shown that people mind wander for 50% of their day at least. And this means, right, not being in the present moment. It means having thoughts come up over and over again. In conversations, this looks like thinking, do they like me? Did I just make a weird thing with my face? Not being fully in the moment of whenever you are talking to a person. But when you can switch that, when you can train your brain to focus on exactly what the person is saying to you, you become a good listener. And good listening is 80% of being a great conversationalist. And one thing that I can promise you that you are doing now, bro, is that you are thinking of the next thing to say before they even finish their sentence. Maybe you realize you do this, maybe you don't, but whenever you are thinking of the next thing to say, you don't really listen. You are more concerned about coming off in a certain way, seeming interested, seeming positive, rather than just being interested. That is something that you have to cut out, and you have to start being more present, because what we're about to do is change your social scripts. Because like I said, everyone has social habits that they form in childhood. A social script is the thing that your brain automatically says to a question. When someone asks, how are you? You say, pretty good. Someone says, what you up to? Not much. You have social scripts because it makes it easier. It's like you know every little thing about your house, right? If there's one door that you have to push on a little bit harder to open, you know that, and you do it automatically now. If you move to a new house, you have to relearn all of these tiny little things. What we are doing is we are moving. We're moving from this past version of you that says dumb, boring shit like pretty good when you answer questions to a new version of yourself that actually has interesting answers, that actually thinks in conversation. We're breaking through your old habits to form new ones that are going to revolutionize your social life. Our goal is to, 1, be more present in conversation so that we aren't using scripts, but 2, to create new scripts that are more helpful, because you are always going to have scripts. Sometimes you're not going to feel like putting full effort into a conversation. If you're fucking beat with your day, you're going to just throw out a social script. We want those social scripts to be ones that encourage better conversation than just shutting shit off like pretty good, not much. And you do this by developing presence and recognizing whenever you're using a social script, realizing after the moment you say it, oh shit, that's a canned response. Let me change that. Next time someone asks how I'm doing, I'm going to genuinely tell them something about my day that was good. Last thing before we get into the practical advice is you now have to start seeing yourself as a different person, because no matter how hard you try to make progress, if your self-image is here, if you still see yourself as the kind of person who fucks up conversations, the kind of person who isn't social, who doesn't like talking to people, no matter how much progress you make, you're going to snap right back to here, because your self-image is so fucking powerful. If you start seeing yourself, genuinely seeing yourself differently, it's going to be much easier to make progress, because every time a social situation goes right, you'll think, oh yeah, it's because I'm working on it. It's because I am becoming a social leader, rather than every time you've tried and it feels wrong. Even if the conversation went right, you nitpick every little tiny thing that you did because you still think that you are someone who fucks up conversation. You aren't, bro. You're no longer some guy who isn't social, who fucks shit up. You are now a social celebrity in training. And yes, you will feel fear when you go into conversation. You will face failure. You are going to be embarrassed over and over again. But it's not because you were a failure. It's not because you aren't social. It's because you are learning. Feeling fear means you are on the right path, because the only people who don't feel fear in the things that they are doing are the people who are stagnant, and that is the worst life to live. You feel fear and you know that you're progressing. And when you fail, you learn. Failure is also a sign of progression. Because think about this, bro. There are plenty of smart people. And if you're watching this kind of video, you're probably pretty smart, because most people don't go out of their way to learn social skills. But when you do, when you realize this is a skill that I can level up and my life will get better in every single way, you have just that much more self-awareness. But we all know plenty of smart people who are living shit lives. It's not being smart that makes your life fucking incredible. And we now know that playing it safe with being social doesn't win you friends or girls. So who fucking wins in this game? It's the bold. People who are bold fucking win, who feel the fear, who failed last time, and they act anyway. Despite that, these are the people who win the social game. So you now have to see yourself as a social celebrity in training. You are getting better. You also have to see yourself as someone who is now bold, who acts decisively. And you do this just by telling yourself that, by forcefully putting the thought in your mind, I am bold and decisive. I am a social leader in training. And every time you get a negative thought in your mind, instead of literally thinking the thought, I am bold and decisive, I am a social leader in training. All right, practical things to do. First of all, like I said, presence is the most important skill for you to level up right now. So meditating is going to get you there for 10 minutes a day. Just download whatever app, whatever the fuck app you want, that has just some guy who tells you to come back to your breath. That's all you need. I use Medito. I'm not sponsored. I just like it because it's free and because it's really fucking simple. But when you do this, when you make it a priority to meditate every single day, you don't only just get a little bit more calm throughout your day. This is a skill. You're able to bring yourself back in conversation. When someone is saying something and you start getting the thoughts, maybe I'm a shithead. Maybe the face I just made was weird. Maybe I said something wrong and that offended them. When you start getting these thoughts, you can literally recognize that instead of just letting it play out in your mind forever and ever and just having the conversation go to shit. You can recognize, I'm overthinking. And when you notice yourself overthinking, now you have the ability to catch it and say, and specifically, I want you to take a breath like that, deep, into your balls. It's okay if the other person hears you. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not weird. You were just breathing. Whenever you were able to bring yourself back, calm your mind, and not think of the next thing to say, but genuinely focus on what they are telling you, you are going to come up with the right things to say automatically. Your subconscious will do that for you because you are just genuinely listening. And here's a pro tip for you. Wait 2 seconds before responding to people to genuinely think about and digest their answers, because when you do that, not only does it look powerful as fuck, right? Because you aren't afraid of other people interrupting you, but you take the time to genuinely listen and think about your answers. And there's no greater feeling than thinking someone is really listening to the things that I'm saying right now and genuinely making room for me in their day. And it's going to feel like forever in the moment when you wait these 2 seconds, but it's really not. It's 2 whole seconds. The only reason it feels like that is because you have a little bit of adrenaline, right? You're in bullet time because you are putting social pressure on yourself. Use deep breathing and meditation to calm this anxiety. And now that all the weird people who don't really give a fuck have clicked off the video, it's just me and the boys. We can actually talk about the shit that might be a little bit controversial, but it's actually going to help you. The next tip, absolutely judge people, bro. 100%. Make assumptions and speak them with statements. And now before you think, oh, Luke's a bad person because he judges people, the reason that first impressions are so hard to change is because usually they're right. Forget this shit of don't judge a book by its cover. Absolutely judge a book. Be willing and open to change your opinion, but absolutely judge. Because we are hardwired to be incredible judges of personality. We've had to be, because in our caveman days, which our mind has not evolved from, we had to think in seconds, is this person a friend or a foe? Are they going to help me get food tonight, put food on the table? Or are they going to try and bash my skull in? And of course, don't be racist. Don't say things that are genuinely hurtful to people, right? But for the most part, say the first thing that your mind thinks. If you see someone standing in a hallway and they're holding their books close to their chest, they're not really making eye contact with people, you can probably assume this person's a little introverted. This person might be really into books. So instead of saying nothing, you can go up and talk about that. You could say, hey, you look like you're into books. What's your favorite book right now? That person's probably gonna be like, oh shit, how did he know that? That person's going to feel seen in the best way. They're going to be like, oh wow, yeah, that's what my personality is like. Let me now tell you about this thing that I'm really interested in. And sometimes your first impressions are wrong. As long as you aren't saying shit that's genuinely hurtful, they're going to be like, oh, well, why'd you think that? And it's a lot more fun and exciting than just asking a question. Think about what I just said. You look like you're really into books versus me saying, hey, do you like books? Which sparks a more fun conversation? So start sparking conversations with statements rather than questions, because people are going to either, one, if you're right, feel seen and like you've read them, or two, they're going to be like, what? No, why would you think that about me? And then that opens you up to have a playful conversation with somebody. What's up, gang? It's Editing Luke. Just want to put this in there. Don't assume things that are negative about someone, always something that's either positive or neutral. And I feel confident giving this advice because until this point, bro, you've been on this side of the spectrum, right? I wouldn't give the same advice to someone who's way over here, who is saying shit all the time. The first thing that comes to their mind, and they're getting in trouble for it because they say offensive shit all the time, right? You're probably not over here. You're on this side of the spectrum that I have been on for years, where even in situations where I should speak up, where I should say things, I haven't before. I used to be bullied for years as a kid, and I never said shit. When you start saying the first thing that's on your mind, you start developing the habit of asserting yourself, of showing who you truly are, your genuine personality. And this is huge. And the thing with this tip, bro, is you're going to polarize. Some people are not going to like the things you say. Some people are going to love the things you say. And this is good because you don't want everyone to like you. You think you want everyone to like you, but you don't. Because if you've been like me before in the past and you've been a people pleaser, right? This is when you're trying to get everyone to like you. And it's fucking exhausting, bro. Because you've probably gone through this cycle of trying to please people and then getting so fed up and tired with social life because it feels exhausting. Because none of your friendships are rewarding. Because, bro, you never want all people to like you. You want the right people to like you. And plus, bro, when you focus on this, when you focus on just attracting the right people into your life, more people are going to like you than if you play it safe. Because people who play it safe don't have fun, exciting conversations. They don't have these sparks of excitement when they speak. And even if people don't like every personality trait you have, they're going to think this guy is authentic. This guy's at least being himself. And that is attractive as fuck. And it gets you respect from people. Last practical tip is you have to start seeing people as stars of their own movies. Because one problem that you're probably having is whenever you go up to people and start having conversations, you don't really feel interested in their stories or the things that they're interested in. It's like, it doesn't really matter that much to you unless it's deeply interesting to you too. Like if you're really into Avatar: The Last Airbender and someone else is, you're gonna click immediately, of course. But if someone's into jazz and you don't fucking like jazz, bro, sometimes it can be hard to connect. But if you start seeing people and trying to convince your brain that this person is the star of their own movie right now, things that have happened in their life are important and the things that they have bring up to me have changed them, you are going to start being more interested in them. Because think about it like this, bro. You probably aren't interested if some guy on the street just comes up to you and starts telling you about their mommy issues. But in some of your favorite TV shows, some of your favorite movies, there have been plot lines where people's relationships with their moms come up and you're like, that's so fucking interesting. The exact same thing can happen with people whenever you realize it's the same. Except you don't get to see all this cinematic bits. You have to imagine that in your mind first. You have to see them as the star of this movie. Another pro tip is mentally visualize yourself in their shoes when they tell you stories, when they tell you things they're excited about. When you mentally visualize yourself in their shoes, you can kind of start to see what they feel. If they tell you about this really traumatic experience they went through with their dad and you see yourself doing that, you're like, damn, no, that must have genuinely been tough. Holy shit. Or maybe they tell you about how their dad and them used to go fly fishing all the time and now fly fishing is the way that he feels close to his dad. You can visualize yourself doing that and being like, damn, that's really wholesome. So start learning from other people and genuinely taking the things that they're saying with excitement by seeing them as important. And remember, bro, you are going to struggle. You will have conversations that are dull and fall flat. You will have people who dislike you whenever you start this process. But on the other side of this, you are going to know way more people for one, meaning you're going to be more popular. But you're also going to have way more people like you for who you genuinely are. Because now you're actually showing who you genuinely are. The reason that this is going to work so fucking well and change your social life is because you're using two factors that are irresistible to people. One is showing genuine interest in other people. This is incredibly connecting. The second is you're now being vulnerable and showing your authentic side of yourself. And this makes you incredibly attractive. And not just to girls, to friends too, but this makes your conversations so unforgettable. You're going to start making people's day just by being around them. You're going to find friends and connect with girls without even really trying because you are changing your social scripts and you are using presence in your conversations. And this is the side of life that I want you to experience. You have to be this bold new version of yourself who sees failure as progress and acts decisively. Because that is how you are going to create this incredible social life around you. How you're going to become this person that the people you used to know don't even recognize anymore. Like this video or save it to a playlist so you can come back to it as you implement each of these steps. On top of that, bro, leave a comment down below with the next step in your social journey because I love seeing your comments and they not only inspire me, but also every other guy who's only one step behind you. So act now, become unstoppable.